Weather impact alert because of that possible winter storm that could be impacting us this weekend. I'm with our chief meteorologist, Chevy Chevalier, and we want to have a conversation here. We want to talk just a moment about the possibilities that are out there. And I know right now there is a winter storm watch in effect for parts of South Carolina, right?
Yeah, the northern counties of our state, and all points to the north. Now, I think what the Weather Service is doing, JR, is waiting on some more water runs because one of the models shifted a little north with the track, and before they issue any weather alerts for the southern counties, which could be more rain and less freezing rain. But the size of this thing alone, look at, I mean, it's like 200 million Americans may be impacted.
All right, let's talk about the possible tracks here, what we could expect here. I know there's a couple of different models out there. We see it all over social media as well. But we have two very different tracks right now that could impact us. How?
It doesn't take much of a track move to impact us. We've been talking about this, and they've been agreeing on a track that goes right over the Carolinas, JR. But this one, it's called the GFS, is very similar to what it had yesterday and agrees with other models that we're looking at some pretty significant freezing rain possible Saturday afternoon all the way into Sunday morning. Notice the rain line a little farther to the south, maybe the southern tip of the state, is 6 a.m. We still got freezing rain in the picture. Then the rain line at noon into the afternoon gradually moves a little bit to the north. But you can see why the Weather Service is maybe holding off a little bit on, what they're going to do for the southern counties. Now, if you talk about accumulations with that track, JR, they are pretty significant. This would probably be the worst case scenario. But, we were talking about a 1/10 of an inch or a 1/4 inch compared to 3/4 of an inch. This is ice accumulation, not snow. It's still very hazardous. A 1/10 of an inch is pretty hazardous out there.
Even with that model, that's still down as far as yesterday was concerned.
They're kind of, on average, they're down a little bit with the amount, which, 3/4 to a whole inch of ice is a lot. So it's good that they're going down. Hopefully they'll keep trending that way.
All right, now speaking of trending, there is one model that is trending this storm further north, which would be good news for the Midlands.
It would be good news, and maybe it's a sign that it'll keep pushing it a little to the north. This one's called the European model, Euro for short. And what you'll notice here is the green is a lot farther north, the rain line. But Saturday night still, evening into Sunday morning, JR, overnight, that period I still think is very key because you still see a lot of pink in there. But look how this one pushes a lot of the rain over the state as we get into Sunday morning and through Sunday, and then it wraps up on Monday. But if we look at the accumulations if we get that track, they are a lot less. Significantly less. At evening it starts, and then as we go through the overnight, that's where you get the most chance for it. And we're talking about a 1/10 of an inch for Columbia, but look how much, it's almost zero as you get down to Charleston in the southern part of the state. Significantly higher, though, when you go north, but this would be a much better scenario, and hopefully we can improve on this.
All right, so you believe that's the track right now that you're leaning towards, right?
I would say do what we usually do and kind of go in between. And that's what we usually try to blend models and see, okay, well, this one, this. And since we had that one change, we really want to see what comes out tonight and tomorrow, because is it going to trend a little farther north? Is it going to start? Sometimes it can snap right back to the track it had before. There are a lot of variables still with this. We're pretty certain we're going to see some impacts, especially northern South Carolina, and if you're traveling to the north, that's not a good idea this weekend.
Well, let's say we get something overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. Temperatures are supposed to be above freezing Sunday afternoon, right?
Yeah. And then you're talking about the surface is huge. Is it 32 or below? That would be freezing rain. And then the profile, the temperature is there's warm and cold layers. And if you get a warm layer, water, and then it freezes, that's sleep. We want sleep, because that bounces off power lines and tree branches, and we don't really have to worry about it sticking to those and those causing power outages.
All right. If you